This week, we're going cover to cover on My Next Breath, a memoir by Jeremy Renner. I'm Sarah Lyles.
And I'm Jamie Livingston, and we are so approachable. This is a combined, one episode. We normally do a TLDR to introduce you to the book, no spoilers, and then jump into the cover to cover. But we're going to combine it all. We did this with our other nonfiction. Mm-hmm. We did Anxious Generation.
Right.
If you are interested in learning about how technology is impacting our brains and our children's brains. That was a really fun episode, very enlightening episode. This book, I challenged Sarah that we should both pick a memoir. Mm-hmm. And so this is my pick. Mm-hmm. I picked this one because I was working in news at the time of Jeremy Renner's accident and followed it very, very closely. He was run over by a snowcat, which is like a big snow machine, 2023.
Right.
We're going to dive into a little bit of that background in a moment, but I just remember this being a very significant thing that he survived. And so I was curious. My husband had actually purchased the book and had already listened to it and had talked about how you have to listen to it because it's him reading the audiobook. And so it's very grabbing. I mean, it's very entertaining as well. But just to hear somebody's story. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what you have planned for us in the coming months, but Sarah's going to pick a memoir at some point.
Yes, I am.
That's the goal. So that's what we're doing here. So if you haven't read this book, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard about this story at least.
If you haven't, please go. I had not.
Okay.
I stay away from the news. Obviously, your life was the news. I try to stay away from it because it's quite debilitating and has a lot of information to which is overwhelming. So I actually did not hear about this story until you brought it about to read. And so there are a lot of really good news articles, a lot of good information. So even if you haven't read this book, at least go see some of those clips to give you some background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll give you some background. Why don't you start us off?
All right. So from the inside cover, the gripping and inspiring story of acclaimed actor Jeremy Renner's near-fatal accident and what he learned about inner strength, endurance, and hope as he overcame insurmountable odds to recover, one breath at a time.
Two-time Oscar nominee Jeremy Renner was the second most Googled person in 2023, and not for his impressive filmography. His searing portrayals on film ranged from an Iraq-based Army bomb technician in The Hurt Locker and a Boston bank robber in The Town to a crooked Camden mayor in American Hustle before he became heir to the Jason Bourne franchise of the Bourne legacy. Amongst other iconic roles, he also captured hearts as fan favorite comic book marksman Hawkeye in 7 Marvel films.
Yet his otherworldly success on screen faded to the periphery when a 14,000-pound snowplow crushed him on New Year's Day in 2023. Somehow able to keep breathing for more than half an hour, he was subsequently rushed to the ICU, after which he would face multiple surgeries and months of painful rehabilitation.
In this debut memoir, Jeremy writes in blistering detail about his accident and the aftermath. This retelling is not merely a gruesome account of what happened to him. It's a call to action and a forged companionship between reader and author as Jeremy recounts his recovery journey and reflects on the impact of his suffering. Ultimately, Jeremy's memoir is a testament to the human spirit and its capacity to endure, evolve, and find purpose in the face of unimaginable adversity. His writing captures the essence of profound transformation, exploring the delicate interplay between vulnerability and strength, despair, and hope, redemption, and renewal.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is a lot. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised. So you said you hadn't heard about this at all?
No, not at all.
No inkling.
Nope. And so when you recommended it, I was like, okay, let me look at who he was. And so I had looked up who he was, and the first thing that pops up is his accident. So that's number one, Jimmy Kimmel, he's on Jimmy Kimmel. And so it was like, oh, wow, he's walking. That's one of the first things that you see.
Right.
Right. So
I feel like when I said, I want to do this one, he got run over, and you were just like, okay.
You've thrown me in some wild rides, so I wasn't surprised. I was like, all right.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, to me, this was all brand new. And let me just say, I immersed myself in this story, in his life for a good 36 hours.
I was going to say, you flew through this one.
36 hours, like cover to cover. Mind you, that was still like life still happening behind me. And you really have to focus in this one. But I do agree with your husband. Audiobook is absolutely the way to go with this one. I can't imagine reading it and portraying the same emotions that Jeremy actually gives. Mm-hmm. I loved that he read it. It was actually very powerful.
Well, and he gets choked up, and
Absolutely.
like he's very emotional. I was listening while reading at a couple times, and he goes off script a little. There's a couple extra swear words that he throws into the audio. So I will say that this is not a book to audiobook around children.
No.
There's a lot of F-bombs. There's a lot of swearing, and I mean, it is gruesome. He does talk about his injuries and very vivid medical details.
Right.
So older children maybe, but just take that with a grain of salt.
Right. This was two headphones, two earbuds in, just by myself. Let me listen to this story. And it was intense.
Do you have 3 words for this one?
I do. They are resilient, emotional, and redemptive. What are yours?
Okay. I have raw, enlightening, and uplifting.
Yes. All of those.
Yeah. And I don't know what I was expecting going into this one. Like I said, I'm a news junkie, and I was working New Year's Day. Like, we work on holidays, so I was working New Year's Day when that news bulletin came in and said, actor has been airlifted, like, crushed. Like, the key words that you hear, we said 14,000-pound snowplow. And instantly, like, I had to Google, like, what is a piston bully? Like, that's the brand or whatever his thing. Like, I come from a skiing family, and I know what a big snowplow looks like.
Right.
And so to imagine that somebody was run over by one of those and survived, and it wasn't on snow. I think he had mentioned somewhere where he was like, I wish I had been on snow. Like, he was on pavement and ice. So there was no give. Like, it was just flat on top of him. And as he's recounting in detail, his machine has 3 wheels that have these like tank treads over them. And he was like, I could feel every wheel, all 6 of them pass over. And they're really wide wheels.
Yes.
I mean, they're like huge.
Right.
The whole premise of this, maybe for people who haven't read or haven't done the research, is that it was New Year's Day. He had like 20 members of his family at his house in Lake Tahoe.
Yep.
And it had dumped just crazy amount of snow. They are buried in. And the guys were getting up in the morning to go and clear the driveway so they could go skiing. And in all of the chaos, he and his nephew, 20-something.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Alex is really young. Yeah.
Early 20s. They're out moving stuff around. He gets out his big snow mover, and when he gets out, I don't remember if it was Alex who didn't put it in park or if it was him that didn't put it in park.
I think he didn't put it in park.
Yeah.
Because Alex
drove it out for a
Mm-hmm.
moment, but I think that it was Jeremy who had been back inside of it.
Yes. And he didn't put
do
the parking
emergency brake.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so when he got out to try to do something, he realized that it had started rolling.
Yep.
And that his nephew was in danger because it looked like it was going to run him over because that thing doesn't stop.
Right.
It's 14,000 pounds,
Right.
and it just
it's gonna
keeps going.
And I think there was a truck they were trying to, right, and there was a truck in the way, and basically it was going to take him.
He thought he was going to get pinned
crushed.
up against the
Correct.
vehicle.
Right.
So he tried to do one of his Hawkeye maneuvers, and he was going to have to jump 3 feet vertical and 3 feet across to land on the door, to open the door, to pull on the brake. Yeah. It was a silly move. I mean, like, one based in love. And he reiterates that over and over and over again.
Right.
That everything was from love.
Right.
He was trying to save his nephew's life. Whether or not that was feasible or even possible, No. So when he went up and jumped,
Right.
his foot was caught in the tread, and he was thrown in front of the vehicle and sucked underneath. And just the details. What did you think, hearing all of that for the first time?
Well, I'm going to back up a little bit because the universe tried, and I say like it tried not to get him there. So going back where he said that they missed their flight, they started to drive, right? And then they lost their key fob, had to take an Uber to go find it. So everything was trying to stop them from even getting there. But yet he still was like, no, I'm going to go for my family. This is a big deal. And so it was like, I feel like there were all these things in the way that were trying to like say, you shouldn't go. It's not going to be good. And so I was like, that is everything. And like part of me, like the religious part of me is like, that is God trying to say, don't go. I'm trying to intercept this moment and go, don't do it. And you're not listening to me, slam the door in your face going, just stay home. And so when it all came about and how that all happened, I was listening to this just in shock. Like, I'm imagining, this was before, like, I wanted to actually listen to the book before I went and saw, like, the recap, because I didn't want to have that, like, backstory first of, like, I wanted to know what he was, but I didn't want to see the thing. Hearing him talk about his eyeball popping out. And I mean, this is why you can't listen to this with your young kids, because he talks about this. He talks about he can feel his body being crushed. And I'm like, the fact that he survived is wild to me. Like, he should not have survived.
No.
At all.
His eyeball was pushed out of his head. Like, how was his brain not pushed out of his head?
Correct.
I don't understand.
I don't know either. And so, like, for me, I go back and go, you survived, and I'm so glad that you're able to tell about it, but my goodness. And this wasn't even that long ago, really.
No.
Really, if you think about it, it's not that long that he was able to survive and still be able to talk about it.
The fact that he was, like, up and moving and doing stuff months later, like, the timeline of events, and I mean, he goes into detail about his recovery and talking about the systems that he had in place and how even as a child, he had been put into Lamaze classes, which is
the breathing techniques.
Hysterical. Like, you think of Lamaze classes for pregnant women learning how to go hee hoo hoo, like how to breathe. But he had gone into those as a child, and breathing was something that was very important to him.
Yes.
And so when he's laying there on the ice with his entire body collapsed, like broken ribs, things that are punctured, I mean, and he's fighting for his next breath. I mean, that's where the title comes from. Everything was all for my next breath. And so he was putting all of his energy into manually breathing because we don't think about our breathing. I'm not thinking about my breathing right now. It's just happening.
Right.
So that's where it's like he was in excruciating pain, but the entire time he still thought that he was going to be able to just stand up and walk away.
I mean, literally, I wrote down in here where he literally was thinking, this happened, and all he was thinking about how he was ruining his family's holidays and skiing.
Right.
He was constantly thinking about others and like, oh, I'm going to ruin their holiday and they're not going to get to go skiing. It's like, that just shows like where his heart is too.
Right.
How he's like suspending that thought of like, oh, I'm ruining this because of what you tried to save his life. And then they even talk about Alex on the other side. When he saw it coming towards him, he says like, please be quick. Because he's like, I'm about to die. Just please be quick. And then he doesn't. And it misses him just barely. And then to look over and see his uncle, again, I was just in awe in so many moments of this book. And that's why I flew through it, because I was just like, I need to know, how is he still telling about this 3 years later? And actually, this came out, what, last year?
Yeah 2025, so last April.
2 years. And he's able to tell this story.
Well, and not just tell his story. I mean, he was told that he wouldn't walk and that he wouldn't run. And he was like, no, I'm going to do it. He's back acting and doing his own stunts. Like that, to me, is insane.
I mean, this is like Hawkeye might be who he is on screen, but I think he's the real Marvel character. Yeah.
Right.
He's the real deal.
The fact that he was moved from the hospital like 7 days after this accident to a different hospital, regardless, but he had more than 30 broken bones. He told his daughter at one point, like, hey, you remember your classmate who had a broken arm and she had a cast? Well, my entire body's broken, and so I would just look like a mummy, so they're not putting me in a cast. But I just have 30 bones that are broken that need to be fixed. And they're not just like silly bones. It was all of the big major bones, like parts of him that have had to be rebuilt and restructured, talking about his mouth and how his mouth is still
will never be
in crazy pain all the time. Like there were plates in his cheeks, and like his jaw was broken in 3 places. Like it was insane. And the amount, I mean, it talked about how this book is about the human spirit and your capacity to endure and overcome. And that is what I think translates the most from this book, is that he's talking about his will to survive and thrive, because he didn't want to be a vegetable. He didn't want to be limited to a wheelchair.
Right.
And so he wanted to get out of the hospital.
Mind you, he was kicked out of one, wasn't he?
Well, he tried to break out. He tried to
what I
sneak
mean.
out
Yes.
multiple times. I was laughing so hard. Like, Jeremy, you literally have every broken bone right now.
You literally
and
died
you can't
on the
stand
ice.
up. Like, what? You think you're like tiptoeing out of this hospital right now? I don't care if it's AMA. You are not leaving.
You can't.
Like, he was still physically hooked up to like a
I
million
know.
different IVs
Yes.
and wires, and needed a family bodyguard to keep him in. Like, that was cracking me up. And his admitting that he was the worst patient ever, like, I get the award for the worst patient ever because he was so grumpy. But it wasn't even that he was grumpy. It was that he was, like, defending himself and saying, like, you guys think I'm just going to die? You have all of your cleaning supplies in my bathroom. Like, I'm not going to use it. I'm going to get up. I'm going to use it. Like, what are you talking about? Don't underestimate me. And I think that that is kind of his mantra. Like, don't underestimate me. Like, I'm going to beat all of the odds.
Which is amazing. It really is. I mean, because even in there, he talks about how, like, he literally died on the driveway. I mean, you can hear in the audiobook, you can hear the actual, and I think
They play
that's,
the 911
yeah,
calls.
they call them, they play those calls, and you can hear the genuineness of him in the background, just like,
Wheezing.
yeah, you can hear his moans and his, you can hear that, and even like, I part of me wanted to be like, she's talking to him and asking questions, and he's like, everything. There's blood everywhere. I mean, can you imagine? And really, he was still so calm talking to her for what was going on. And
You're talking about the neighbor.
Yes.
Right? Rich and Barb, the neighbors.
Yes, the neighbors.
Wow.
That were just there. Amazing neighbors. I mean, he goes in later and talks about, like, thank you. But, oh my gosh, even Rich being on the phone with those 911 calls.
Oh, right. They had no idea what they were actually looking at. He's like, no, he's been crushed. Like, there's blood. Everything's broken. Like,
Yes. Like,
no.
Do you see any
Is there head
bone?
trauma?
Yes.
His eyeball is hanging out. He talks about how he could see his other eyeball. And I'm like, whoa, that is an image.
I mean, I cannot imagine. Yeah, there's a whole lot. And so I loved that that part of it, but it was intense. It was gruesome. I mean, those 911 calls were like very raw, very real. And to know like that wasn't just a made up book. This is real life.
Right.
Is I think why I just flew through this and why I was so captivated by it.
Yeah, I think I really enjoyed, just all of the storyline. It's incredible to think that his nephew came to his side and was trying to position him so that he could breathe, or like collapsed lungs. Like, how are you going to manage that? But they lived in a really rural, not a whole lot of people. Like
Right.
his driveway was a mile long.
Right.
So going to find somebody else to help, he didn't go back up to the house.
Oh, too far.
He went to the neighbor's driveway.
Right.
And walks into the garage, like, and the guy was cleaning a gun or something, like, and is just bleeding and frantic.
Right.
And like, what's wrong? And those people responded so well.
Yes.
And were able to stay calm, like you said, and just the insistence of like, get a medevac out here.
Yes.
Like, we're going to cause more accidents trying to get people driving here. Like,
Right.
don't run into them. Like, the road is slippery, so like if you send a fire truck down here, it's going to slide over him again. And, like,
Yeah.
he's already been crushed once. Let's not do that again.
Right.
So, and I mean, you hear some of Barb's backstory and that she had just witnessed somebody dying the day before.
Oh, yeah.
And so she was like fighting for Jeremy Renner's life. Like, you're not dying on me.
Yep.
I'm not going to put up with that 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
Like,
Kind of
there's
amazing.
just a ton of human spirit
Oh.
in this story.
Seriously, and it just goes and goes. There's faith in people, right? Like, there are really good people that will put themselves out there. I don't even know like how close. I don't think I remember them talking about were they that close before. Obviously now they are, but obviously they didn't live close. A mile between, probably, and so him to go back up to the house would be impossible to even go get the help. And you do hear about that later, and that's a whole other really big story.
Well, and going back up to the house and trying to keep all of those people out of the loop. I mean, like,
yes.
I'm going to go and tell one adult and say, like, hey, don't freak out. But
Here's
it's
what
bad.
happened. Yes.
It's bad. And how do we not cause panic and chaos? And, like, the one guy who's just like, all right, I'll make breakfast for everybody and we'll keep it as normal as possible. Like, you go out to the firefighters and the first responders. And, like, it was crazy. The timeline of events and how everybody kind of jumped up and played their part.
Yeah.
Like, they wanted to pack up and leave so that they could get to the hospital. And
that family is so strong. I feel like the family dynamics in his family are amazing, and how they just supported each other, how they even get together like that at Lake Tahoe, how he has that space. Really, it rang through the whole book.
well, the memoir explores how trauma affects entire family systems,
Yes.
not just the primary victim. And I think that Renner really showcased that and highlighted that well, and that he was always caring about how somebody else would take the news.
Yes.
Or what he did and how it would impact other people.
Right.
And that it wasn't just something that happened to him. And it really did end up being much bigger than him, because his fan base, like the people across the country,
Right.
came behind him and supported him. And like, his celebrity had a whole different
Well, I mean,
aspect
it was
to
like
this.
a blessing and a curse, right? So it was a curse only because he wanted to limit like his daughter and protect her from a lot of that stuff, a lot of those stories or the news was going to come out with. But it was a blessing because he was able to use all of his fan base to do such good. Like, he really did amazing things, and they supported him as well. It was really cool to see.
I think it was a good testament to recovery at home, because he was like, get me out of this hospital. Like, I will get all of the equipment possible, which I know is not realistic for people who are not millionaires and multimillionaires. But for him to set up his LA mansion with all of the high-tech recovery gear, to be able to bring in a physical therapist and have extensive training and to do all of those tasks, I think that speaks volumes about just the comfort of being in peace and quiet, not having a doctor wake you up at every hour of the night, and people punching, like poking and doing all the things. So recovery at home. And he talked about going cold turkey off of the pain meds, and just there's a lot that went into it. Again, very wealthy person, a lot of options
Right.
at his fingertips.
Right, because I don't think that, do I think that if something happened to me would I recover in such fast time? No. I don't have the resources available to me that he does. And unfortunately, our medical system sometimes fails us in that money really does give answers, that if you really are struggling and you're really hurt, unfortunately, our health system can fail you too. And so he did have the resources available to him, and I'm glad he was able to use them in a good way.
Yeah. I enjoyed all the anecdotes surrounding that. He talked about how when he first got home, he went and poured himself a glass of wine. And it was like, that was his show of, I have control. Like, I'm back and this is my home and this is like, you can't take that away from me. And then to his buddy, poured something into the wine so that he couldn't drink it.
Right.
It was like, yes, you are on way too many narcotics for this, sir. Like, no, that does not go together. But it was symbolic. And it was the this is home and this is where I can recover.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
I mean, it sounds to me like he is a genuine person. I mean, even he had some quotes in here I liked where he had talked about hate won't outlive anyone, only love can do that. I mean, even calling his accident a glory moment was and he even said, I would do it again. I'm like,
not that I'd want to, but I would because of the outcome.
Yes. That was just phenomenal to me. Wow, that you are just looking at the bigger picture, and it makes me go, why do I complain about certain things that don't matter? It makes you go, there are so much better understandings of love and family that I should cherish that maybe I'm not, because someone who went through such a traumatic event that literally he said, I died. All I had to do was die to live life. And I'm like, wow. It really did make me step back and look at the big picture of things to go, I'm missing something here.
Yeah, he talked about how the accident removed the white noise from his life. Mm-hmm. And that it takes any question out of his decision-making process. He's like, if it's not serving me, if it's not serving my family and my actual goal, it's gone. I have died. I know what it's like. I know what I need in my life. I know what I don't need in my life. And so he's only going to focus on what truly matters.
Right. He actually said in his quote, and this kind of sums it all up, he said, I'll never have a bad day for the rest of my life. All I had to do was die. I'm like, okay. I mean, even the way he describes death, that moment, it sounded to me like just a peaceful moment of nothing but everything. I think that's kind of the way I translated what he said, in there was nothing, but I had everything, and it was peace beyond understanding. And so for me, okay, go back to my faith side. I'm like, how did you not see God in that moment? Big picture going, wow, because that is so overwhelming. And that he even talks about not being scared to die anymore. And I'm like, I can't even imagine what that must have felt like. Because he said he's excited to feel that again, right?
Well, and I think I questioned through some of that whether or not he was religious. But then he specifically said, I'm not religious. I don't believe in God. And I think it is hard to read something like this and to not see God.
Oh, yeah.
God's hand was over his recovery. It was in all of those details, in the fact that Barb brought out blankets and towels, and they were able to stem the bleeding in certain places. There was a lot of coincidence happening in all of the things, which we would not label as coincidence.
Absolutely not.
And so it is it's beautiful that he's telling this story, and it appeals to this really wide audience. And I'm very hopeful that it does point people to Jesus.
Oh my goodness, yes. I am very hopeful in thinking it will one day point him to Jesus.
Yes.
To go, those things weren't by accident. Those things weren't by chance, right? Mm-hmm. They all were for a reason and a purpose, and they were all, God was behind every single one of them. So for me, I was like, I could feel the spiritual and the religious aspect as he was reading it, even if he wouldn't label it that.
Right. And I think that is kind of what this question was talking about when he's eliminating the white noise. How does that metaphor function to transform a traumatic experience into a spiritual awakening? Yeah, it does, 100%.
Yes.
Your trauma typically is your rock bottom.
Yes.
And takes you to a place where you need help. And he talked about how he was a very independent person and did not want help from people. But in that moment, he learned how to take help.
Yeah.
To ask for help.
He
and that
had
he
to.
needed it.
Yeah.
And I relate to that. I am independent to a fault. But I broke my foot. I broke one bone. I broke my heel. I understand that it was difficult. I can't imagine having 30 broken bones and the helplessness that you would feel in that.
I mean, and even after reading this book, I went and watched the Jimmy Kimmel episode, and he talks about, and even is like joking, right? He's even like still having humor about it. And he's like, I was just worried about my nephew Alex. Through it all, it's good, I'm good. And he's like laughing and having a good time about it. And he's able just to see we take life way too seriously, and just enjoy the things that are around you. And like you said, all the things that are in my way, he's like, don't need those.
Right. And I think that he actually had a lot of those. I don't think it was like a transformation in this moment. I think he had a lot of those qualities before his accident.
Sure.
And he talked about how he would have Renner talks with his family members or friends and family, where he would like sit people down and like have the talk or like call them out for stuff.
Right.
And like he was known for being kind of that mentor.
Right.
And that like solid person. And so seeing what has come out of this case, this scenario, really is enlightening. And I think that we can learn from it. The fact that he's having conversations, like he's personifying his body parts and like yelling at his legs and is like, hey, I'm not in pain. Why are you in pain? Like, stop. Start walking. I need you. And how he is like rewiring his brain to not understand pain anymore. Like, nope, you're just a ball of nerves. Like, you don't need to do that.
He calls those cheat codes, where he's like talking about the only obstacle in your way is you. Yeah. That's just so big.
Right.
Yeah.
And like, what can I apply that to in my life? Or what pain or what annoyance is in my way right now that I need to just reframe and retrain my brain? Like,
Yes.
Right now, like, I'm a little sore, like, and I'm kind of acting like a baby. And it's like, maybe I should retrain my brain to be like, that's really not an issue. Like, you're fine. Suck it up. You can be okay.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that he's able to see the good in all of this still, I'm not sure I'm able to understand and captivate, like, how can he say, like, I'd do it again?
I mean, the book ends with him climbing back up on his snowcat.
Yep.
Getting behind the wheel and saying, you don't scare me.
Which I love that he goes back to not just, like, face his fear. He goes back to be like, it's okay. He's like, well, I will definitely remember the emergency
brake from here on out.
But it is one of those things, like, things that we're fearful of, we don't need to be scared of them, because death is not something we should be scared of.
Right. And he set all of these goals along the way. I mean, he said he was going to run I don't remember the numbers, but he was going to run like a 55-meter dash in 4.5 seconds. And like, that's what he's working toward. I was on his Facebook page today, and like a couple weeks ago, he was on the slopes, like skiing.
Wow.
And he's saying like, this is the first time I've been back in skis in quite a while, and it's really remarkable that I'm even here. He was announcing that whatever TV show he's on is renewed for another season. And
is he talking about his Renovations show? Was that what he's talking about?
Renovations came out like
before,
when like they had already filmed it,
right?
And it was debuting in April when he had his accident in January, and they were like, we're gonna push it back, and he was like, no, I'll be there. And he was walking with a cane 3 months after being crushed. Like, I just don't understand. Wow. I just don't understand. Did you watch any of that show?
I didn't. I actually plan to. It's on my to be watched, but
yeah, that's on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And I think there's only 4 episodes. I don't know if he's like working on more or whatever. But I mean, it's been a while.
Basis, again, him
Helping.
giving back and helping others. And that, like you said, this was pre-accident that he had already set this up.
Right. Like, that shows that is already in his constitution. Like, he is a giver and a helper. Another one of the things on his Facebook page was he is raising money for first responders. He's very passionate about helping first responders. And it was ironic in this case that the ambulance that took him to his second hospital was the one that they used in the renovations show to equip, like, just so many things where he's giving back, and the fruits of his generosity are coming back to help him even.
Yep.
And, like, that's just the testament of this, is that he is inspiring good. He talked about how, I don't know how soon it was after his accident, but they were at Disneyland.
Oh, soon? I felt like it was really soon, and that's all walking.
And he was going on the rides. I was like, I'm sorry, mister. Like, you're riding on this shaky roller coaster with all of your bolts and screws and plates, and, like, you're okay with this? Your doctors are okay with this? He drove to his daughter's school. And he's like, yeah, no doctor was going to sign off on that, so I was just going to ask for forgiveness later. I was like, oh, my goodness, I don't want you behind the wheel at that point. But, okay, like, just crushing life. Poor choice of words, or maybe good choice of words, but golly, like, not giving up.
No. And I loved, like, listening or reading the book. It starts with the daughter writing the essay and talks about how she's so proud of her dad. And I thought that was really cool, like how she's able to just be as positive as him. And I think what a great gift you're giving to her of seeing the good and giving her, like, we can overcome any obstacle in life if we just don't stand in our own way.
Yeah.
And so that was really cool. I was like, wow, how awesome for Ava, his daughter, just to be so, like, loving and caring about others just like him.
Well, and she was 10.
Yes. So young.
Yeah.
She's still young.
Right. 13
Yes.
now.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a very traumatic thing to go through, witness your parent in that type of condition.
Oh, I couldn't imagine.
Yeah. The whole thing. I did think it was interesting. This is, like, completely off topic, but he was talking about his childhood. So the book does kind of go back and forth between the present tense, his childhood, and talking about the tragedy. But he talked about how he grew up in a bowling alley. And that just resonated with me because my mom has worked in a bowling alley my entire life. And so I would say that I'm better than the average bowler. I'm not good by any means. But I enjoyed, like, that little conversation or that little part of the chapter because he talked about how he gave up bowling because he couldn't get the perfect game, and it just, like, he couldn't play to the level that he knew that he could. Like, he had very high expectations for himself. And the one thing that he said was, I just don't do things I sucked at. And it was like, I totally understand that. Like, there's a place for, like, being bad at something, but, like, I'm not going to keep doing it if I suck at it.
I mean, that's how he felt about living life. I'm not going to do this if I can't, if I suck at it. I'm not going to get better if I suck at it. Like, it's crazy. It really is. I don't even know if I have the right words to describe how I feel about this accident and him being able to tell this story. That's why I flew through this book.
Right. So I don't know if we need to give a rating necessarily. I mean, I've seen other people online who are like, I don't rate memoirs because then you're, like, judging somebody's life. Like, oh, well, your memoir stunk. So you're like, I didn't like what happened in your life, so you get a bad grade.
Oh.
But I definitely would recommend this one.
Absolutely. I mean, I did not know what to expect with this one. I said, you've thrown me into all the different genres, and that's good. It's good because it pushes me boundaries. It actually excites me to want to read other memoirs and go, that was so, like, what can I take out of this? There are so many things that I'm doing in my life or saying or not doing, right, that I should be. And there's things that are obstacles in my way. And really, I need to look at it and go, well, I'm the only obstacle in my way. And so why am I holding myself back? If someone can go through such a traumatic event and look at the positive the whole way, why am I complaining about the little shoulder pain or, right, the knee clicks in the morning, whatever it is, right? But it was very powerful.
Yeah, I was listening to a portion of this with one of my kids, and I think he was taking some of that away because it was when he was talking about how he was retraining his brain to not feel pain and that you can overcome hard things and really shift your mindset. And I was like, yes, please stop being such a grumbling teenager. Like, you can shift your mindset. Like, see, you can do this. But I think that that's what's awesome is that he can use his celebrity to communicate these topics.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
He talked about how, I think that's where I was going, when we were at Disneyland, the people, like, he was used to people coming up to him and asking for selfies, and he never got, like, a minute to himself or to enjoy with his family. And now people treat him with respect or reverence or, like, are coming alongside with support. And just like, hey, it's so good to see you here. Like, we're so happy that, like, you're here.
Yes.
And it's not, like he said, nobody that day asked for a selfie.
Yeah.
They were just offering words of encouragement. So that has really changed his celebrity role.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's weird, but cool.
It is cool. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad you picked it. It was a good read or listen.
High expectations for whatever memoir. I will say that most of the contemporary memoirs, like the ones that are coming out now, are read by the person.
Yeah.
So that adds so much to it.
Oh, the fact that in certain moments he literally was getting choked up and you could feel his actual depth of how he felt about it. Not just words. You could hear the emotion. And that's why I say, like, I didn't read it. I listened to it. I'd highly recommend listening to it because hearing him tell his story, and like you said, there's added blurbs here and there that he adds into, reading it.
Yeah.
Which is understandable. I mean, you could feel every emotion. And so that time I could sit in those emotions and go, that's deep. That's heavy.
Well, and for this one, they actually played the 911 calls.
Yes.
You can read the transcript, but you're actually listening to the live 911 call.
Yeah, and I can imagine it's not the same.
Yeah.
Not at all. So I enjoyed it.
All right. Well, anything else that you want to discuss with this one?
No, I think we covered it really well.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to getting some feedback from our fans because we have done nonfiction a couple times now.
Yep.
And I want to know, are you interested in these? Is this introducing you like it's introducing us to kind of a new genre? And should we do more? Is the one episode format for these good?
Yeah.
Do we want a preview? Do we need 2 weeks to get through this one? Or I don't know. I'm curious because, or if you know of a memoir, that's great. Sarah's going to need to recommend one for us to read in a couple months. So
yeah,
let us know who's got a great story.
I would love to know that. Like I said, this was cool because I didn't know anything about him. And so it introduced me to a whole new story. So if you guys have something that you could not put down, send it our way. I'd love to hear all about it.
Yeah. And just remember, you can always comment. You can always like, follow, subscribe, and share with a friend.
Please do.
We love you. Keep reading.
Keep ranting.
And remember, you are so approachable.
Okay, the episode is over. If you enjoyed it, could you give us a thumbs up or leave a review?
It goes a long way toward helping us grow and meet new people like you.
Subscribe to get notified when the next episode drops.
You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook to see what we're reading next, recommend new books, and join the conversation.
We're so excited to have you on board.